Hello, future kids. This is your mom, and I haven't planned this, but this will be slightly longer video. I was thinking about this one thing yesterday constantly, that how we as a society are so judgmental these days. I was talking to mom, and we had a little like heated discussion about how we always assume the worst of people, because we cannot look over our own insecurities majority of the time, and to hide away from that insecurity we try to make other people insecure or find the worst in them so that we can justify the lack we feel in ourselves as human beings, right? And it's a very deep thing, and I will have a little problem trying to articulate it with as much clarity as I did yesterday, because I was heated and it was a like good flow going on. But I was thinking, when I make videos like this, especially like giving advice, and I am doing this keeping in mind that okay, my future kids will watch this and they will learn something, and if I refer these videos to my future kids, no one can get offended by things I have to say, because it's apparently for my future kids. And the idea of that is amazing, but at the same time it makes me think that if it is even fair to give advices like this, because I am the last person who would go to someone to give unsolicited opinions and advices. And when I make videos like this, I question myself just a slight bit. I was thinking I would make a video about relationships and dating, because these days the entire setup and system of dating is so messed up. I wanted to talk about it and mention how people are not clothes, and a committed relationship will always serve you more than any of your frivolous situationships, where you make yourself think that you are being, selfless by giving other people space and letting them be who they are without having to tie them with you. But it's not really true. At the end of the day, a committed relationship is genuinely selfless, where you are ready to give yourself up and make small sacrifices for the front person. And as much as I think about these things, I believe these principles and values are genuinely good, and I will keep on making videos about like this because it helps me as well. I wonder if this is right, because everyone's principles and morals are so different from each other, and I really want you to grow up to have your own principles that drive you will always be far better than me, paving a little path for you so everything would be easier. You will definitely grow up with similar principles, because I will be the influence, hopefully. But I really think a lot of this judgment of society comes from the fact that we believe that our personal principles are superior than anyone else's. And because we think that our mindset, our principles, our values are so superior and so high up there, that everyone else is just bullshitting all the time, and we are not ready to trust anyone else. Okay, and we look down on people, we judge them, we criticize them. Why? Because they merely have a different opinion about life and they try to live differently. And this one thing has took me the longest time to learn: the art of not judging people and living and letting them live their lives the way they want to, because they are independent entities than I am, right? And I believe that genuinely this is the actual most important lesson, because I thought I'll come here to talk about how choosing the best partner is one of the most important things you would ever do, how being around good friends is one of the most important thing that you would ever do. But I think genuinely the most important thing is to always have your principles, have your morals, have values, but don't think that you're doing anything superior just because you have some principles that you're driven by. I think, especially in society, when we are learning so much and um, so much pondering is going on, everyone's just constantly thinking. There will come a time when you will think of yourself to be a little superior than others just because you have the decency to put effort in yourself. And this is ego, all right? And there's no bigger enemy than ego. So no matter how many principles or values or systems you have built for yourself, always know they are for you and you alone. You no one owes you anything. And these principles and these values and morals do not make you superior in society. They are just there to serve you, and they are only going to help you and your family. And I want you to be open minded as soon as you step your feet outside of your house, because people around you are not going to work the way you want them to work. All right, it's really difficult to wrap your head around the fact that everyone thinks very, very differently, everyone lives very differently. And even if you love someone a lot and you think that there's perfection, you're vibing so much, always understand that their principles might not collide with yours, and they do not live the way you do, they do not have same principles, and that's okay. And you building a good life for yourself does not mean that you're superior in the world. So, no matter how good of a job you're doing for yourself, no matter how good of a student you are, no matter how nice you learn, it's all for your own selfish reasons. You're going to study good, you're going to do good things in your life, you're going to be a good learner, you're going to be a good teacher. All of this is going to pay you yourself back. You're not going to do it for someone else. You don't owe anything to anyone, and no one owes you anything. So, there's absolutely no reason for you to have this inherent ego just because you are serving your own self and your well-being. This comes from a really deep observation. I see people around, like if there are some smart people, there are some nice nerdy students who know what they are doing, they get good marks, they have this ego in them, like, I'm so much better than you. And that is really the last thing I would want anyone of my younger generation to have. It's just annoying, and I do not understand this. Even myself, I hear a lot of people in my family talk to me in a way that, oh, you're doing a lot of good things in this young age. I get that, but there's literally no one reason that I will be this pride complacent self who will always boast about smartness or being a human who simply understands emotion, because all of this is for myself at the end of the day. And we as society have grown up to serve our selfish desires. All of us are just fulfilling what we need as human beings. So I really don't get why you will have so much ego driving you everywhere, you thinking of yourself as this superior being going around everywhere. I'm not saying that be so humble that everyone's just crushing you and walking all over you. I'm not saying that. Have self-respect and self-worth, but self-respect and ego has a really thin line, and you have to be super smart to differentiate both of these. And when I see people who are just doing good for themselves and they think of themselves as highly of a godly being, I really cannot wrap my head around it. Everything that you choose to do is for yourself, and you need to, I have to make you understand this. You go out there and give money to poor, okay, that's a very good deed, but it makes you feel good in return. So whom is it serving genuinely? It's serving your emotions. You feel like you did something amazing, and that feeling of you doing something amazing is serving you at the end. So you really need to stop putting yourself on a pedestal. And this is not just for you. This also helps you to not put other people on pedestal. You don't need to put every single human being you come across on a pedestal just because they are kind. every single thing someone else is doing, just take it normally, treat things normal. And if someone chooses to be really rude or bad, understand that at the end, everything that we are doing is for selfish reasons, no matter if it's a kind human being or it's really rude human being. Let them be. Do not get do not be driven by ego that everyone comes across you and hurts you, all right? Because ego is like glass, and everyone have a stone in their hand if you are driven by ego. Apart from this, I really believe these principles and the way we put ourselves on pedestals, especially these days, because self-care, self-worth is highly misunderstood. Everyone thinks that they are really high of a unnatural being, which I do not understand. Do everything good, be good for yourself, take care of your health, be amazing, but everything is yours, okay? So do not walk around the world as if the world owes you something just because being good. I read some funny tweets every now and then, and they are like, I have never been to a club, never been to this and that and that, I have never did something like this. Guess what? I'm so amazing and superb. What about you? Why would you want people to congratulate you just because you're good to yourself? That's all I'm saying. I really want you to be grounded. And if you are grounded, you are so naturally, authentically yourself that someone can come to you, say whatever of their opinion, and you will take that as an opinion and not as a fact, and you will be unbeatable for that matter. I really believe not having ego drive you makes you unbeatable. It makes you very happy. You can fathom the difference between disrespect and outright offensive and bad, right? And disrespect is also very subjective. A lot of times we take things differently from other people, and so all I'm saying is have a lot of courage first to be yourself. And when you do not have ego that drives you, everything you do is for yourself. You're happy and authentic. When you're not driven by ego and the innate desire to prove someone that you're something, you will be yourself. And being yourself is the best gift you can give to yourself and society and your friends and the people who genuinely love you and care about you. It's really underrated to be yourself because it's not accepted as much. But if you choose to stick around, be yourself for just long enough, and get stubborn by the fact that you are in fact this human being that you're presenting, life's easy. Genuinely, it becomes easy, and people who genuinely care about you will be there. And if they don't, you will lose a lot of people, and you will lose a lot of people anyways. So just do it early on. It's fine. You will lose people. It's inevitable. You cannot please people into being in your life. You can never do that. So be yourself and do not be driven by ego. Everything is yours. Do not paste your principles, your values on someone else's life. Everyone's living a different life. Understand that and have patience for that. Okay? That's all. And apart from that, when it comes to dating and relationships, um, if you're authentic and you choose to be yourself, you will really discover people who are like you too, who are courageous enough to show themselves in this world. And you'll find them. You won't be hiding from yourself. And when you can have this freedom of being yourself, you give someone else the freedom to. If you are living a life full of lies and masking yourself to be a version of yourself that's not authentic. You will find people and you will judge them because someone who has not had patience to be themselves for themselves, how will they have patience for someone else? And yeah, pretty much it. Just have patience to understand you and the front person, and you will have it. I read somewhere that your capacity, someone will only understand you as deeply as they've been able to understand themselves, and someone can only love you as deeply as they've been able to love themselves, and someone can only accept you as deeply as they've been able to accept their true selves. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. If you don't accept yourself, you will never give anyone else space for that, because you cannot make yourself feel safe. No one else will feel safe with you.